Good morning, everybody. 12 minutes past 7 o'clock right now. It is Tuesday, which means it's time for a visit from Ron, the car guy from Westside Auto Pros. And Ron is in studio with us right now. And Jackie, he is going to tell people about something that a lot of people have a tendency to put off.
Politics. Why are we talking politics this morning?
We're going to talk what the government wants you to do.
The government?
Yeah.
They want us to do lots of things.
The government's advice is that you should, if you live in Iowa, you should wash your car.
The government.
The federal government has issued.
Is it a mandate?
Where did you get this? Is this from Governor Terry Branstad's desk?
Before he leaves?
This is a federal thing, and I mean it's not a law, but it's a stern warning, and what it boils down to is the National Highway and Traffic Safety Association, the people that are in charge of recalls and stuff like that. Issued a warning to Iowans as well as motorists in 20 other states, and it's considered the Rust Belt. It's where winter is, and they put a lot of salt on the roads to get rid of the ice and stuff.
Right.
Okay.
And the warning they issued was to wash the underside of your vehicles frequently during the winter months and then in the spring after winter has gone away. And this was brought about, we're seeing a big problem with brake lines, brake pipes rusting through underneath the car. And they're made out of steel.
Right.
And so the salt attacks it. And we've gone away from other chemicals that we used over years and have gone back to salt. Most of the highways have, because it works best. And so the rust factor has now increased. And it's becoming a bigger problem where brake lines, brake pipes rust away underneath the car. And so that rust eats away at them. They become deteriorated. You go to apply your brake pedal, and all of a sudden one day it goes to the floor, and you don't have any brakes.
Because the wall of that brake line gets so thin, and the pressure inside that hose.
It's just like rust on anything else. You know, rust eats away at your fender, and then eventually, there becomes a hole in it, and that happens. All that stuff is, all the brake lines and stuff are run on the bottom side of your car up against the floor.
Something you're not looking at.
No, you'd never look at it, and it can happen to any vehicle on the road, but the one that the NHTSA specifically investigated, it had 3,645 complaints of brake pipe rust and 107 crash reports with 40 injuries just on the General Motors truck line.
And is that in 1 year?
On the pickups.
Wow.
It was over a span of, they investigated it in 1 year, but it affected 08 through 15 vehicles.
Okay, kind of doing a test.
Yeah,
there.
your car's not going to rust out if you bought it last year, if it's 2 years old.
True. It's going to take a little bit of time.
The more winters that it goes through, and some cars we see, I mean, they have no rust underneath, but they're probably going through a car wash with an underbody
on a somewhat
wash.
regular. See, this is the folks at Royco should be advertising this. And
yeah, not Ron the car guy.
Yeah, should be talking about this. Yeah.
You're welcome, Ryko. But anyway, they went through and they investigated it because people complained and thought it was a manufacturing defect.
And they're like, no.
And they came back, and that was their finding is, this isn't a manufacturer problem. Doesn't happen in the southern states where there isn't.
So it's an owner defect for not washing their car.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
And we see this. I mean, we don't see it, every day. We don't see it every week. But I mean, at least once a month, we'll tow a car in, and it's had loss of brakes, and it's due to brake line rust through.
And where did you see that rust occurring? Is it around the caliper in the front of the car?
That's a great question, Lou. It's usually more towards the rear of the vehicle,
where everything splashes up.
Yep, and it's also, picture this. I mean, it's not just a straight line. I mean, these lines bend and turn and twist and go up and over, and it's usually in an area like where it takes a turn or goes up and over something where that snow and slush kind of can get packed up underneath there, so it has its time to do its job.
Away on the line.
Exactly. And when I talk about, we see about one a month. I mean, we're one small shop in Des Moines, and the only ones that we're going to see are the ones that weren't in an accident. The people were lucky. So it's bigger. To sit here and say, well, it's not a big deal. Ron only sees 12 a year or 15 a year or whatever the number is. It's much bigger than that, because we see the people that somehow safely got the car stopped or over to the side or whatever
I'm
the
curious
situation
about if
was.
there's a collision center out there that has any records of that. They say that when they're repairing a vehicle, they have brake lines that have been eaten away too.
I can ask Christy. She was in here last week.
Yeah,
and see
please do, yeah.
Yeah, see if there's any stats on that. But overall, the government came back. The result was they issued a car wash advisory
Right.
to
Which makes
motorists.
sense.
And they also said to have your brake lines and the underside of your vehicle inspected for rust, routinely.
Well, I was just going to say, if you know you're someone who's not good about washing your car, you just know you are. When you get an oil change or something like that, can you say, hey, can you just make sure you take an extra peek?
And, a lot of good shops are automatically gonna. I mean, that's part of the inspection of the
Right,
car when
okay.
you're changing oil. But if in doubt, I mean, if you don't know that the place maybe checks that or is qualified to check it, I mean, maybe ask them. Hey, could you take a look at my brake lines, see if there's any rust or anything on there?
Okay.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, and you can do that over at your place.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Be happy to do it for you.
All right, so Ron the Car Guy, how often do you wash your car?
I'm
Thank you very much. You're as much as I do. Okay. All right.
No,
A lot.
I have the unlimited plan.
Oh, okay.
I would wash it every day if time permitted.
All right, folks, if you have any questions about this or anything else car or truck related, suggest giving Ron the Car Guy a call, 225-9090. Put that in your phone, too, in case anything happens to your vehicle, because Ron can send his troopers out pronto and get you back in service once again.
We can even tow motorcycles.
You can.
How about that?
Anything.
Look at the grin on his face. How about that? Perfect. Ron the Car Guy, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. We will be right back. It is 20.